Hello, everybody still there? Crypto, altcoins, haven't given up yet? Great. Because doing that now is, in my opinion, really unwise. In this video, I want to show you multiple reasons why I am insanely bullish on the altcoin market. Let's get right into it. Now, I know a lot of people think, but altcoins are not doing great. They are low right now. Why are you bullish? Because they're low right now. That's where the buying opportunity is, of course, and that's where the most gains are coming from. So I want to show you multiple reasons why the altcoin market looks like, I don't know how to describe it, actually, but opportunistic. I don't know. There's such a big opportunity right now. Could it be that this is going to be wrong and that for the first time this is not going to play out? It could be. Is it the best thing to bet on though? Nah, man. We've been in crypto for this cycle, waiting for so long now, preparing for so long now. And right before it's all supposed to happen, saying like, it's not going to happen anymore. It's like, man, that's how people got so wrecked in the last cycle. So I want to go over a couple charts and a couple things and a couple reasonings actually, why altcoins are now looking better than what they have done the rest of the whole cycle so far. Because again, I want to make it very clear. If an altcoin, this is the altcoin market in general, if an altcoin is sitting low, then that's great if you can get in. If you were already all in, lesson money, man. I can't help you. I can help you, but not in this video. But if you get in low, yeah, that's fantastic because there's more room to the upside, of course. So although it sucks for now, hey, the people that all everybody who became rich in crypto did one thing. They bought something when it was really cheap and they sold it when it was really expensive. Yeah, we can feel like, oh, cheap is not good. But then again, that's 50% of the whole process. Right, so let's get into it. First chart that I do want to show is the Bitcoin dominance, excluding stable coins, right? We can take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, but I said it before, if Bitcoin goes up, then automatically the Bitcoin dominance goes up because, hey, that's also measuring against stable coins and they don't go up. So of course, then the Bitcoin dominance goes up. If we exclude the stable coins, then the Bitcoin dominance looks like this. It has a little less history, unfortunately, but what we can tell right here, especially if you put it on a weekly chart, how much resistance this whole area gave basically from 2019 until 2021 before we got into alt season. Right? So the fact that we are now still elevated on the Bitcoin dominance, yeah, last cycle, it went there for like 2 years. Right? We just got there like a couple months ago, actually. It doesn't have to mean that we're going to stay up here for 2 years again. But I'm saying like, hey, the fact that Bitcoin is outperforming for a long while, yeah, that's nothing different. Look up the previous cycles. That's very normal, actually. Right? But this is a huge support or a resistance area. And could it be that the Bitcoin dominance, excluding stables, goes up another 4% to go to the top of this range? Good. Could also go higher, right? It's not like, hey, this happened last cycle, so it will happen this cycle. That's not how it works, of course. But we are now in that area, and that's most important. That's actually the place where you say like, hey, support, be bullish. Resistance, be bearish, right? So everybody who is not bearish or not bullish, everybody who is still bullish on the Bitcoin dominance, in my eyes, is trying to time the top. And what's one of the biggest mistakes in crypto that I know? Timing the top or timing the bottom. Fuck this. Close enough. Whether it maybe goes up a little higher or maybe not. That's the thing about crypto, right? So that's one thing that makes me look at the whole dominance thing right now and be like, yeah, okay, this is actually in altcoins' favor. By the way, welcome to the FOMO Factory. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Cheers! Turn the bell notification on. And this is not coffee, this is just really strong whiskey. No, it's coffee. I have been saying that I have been bullish on altcoins for a while. I get that. I know that some people came into the comments, yeah, you've been calling alt season since beginning this year. I know. Historically, end of the post-halving year or end of the halving year slash the beginning of the post-halving year is where altcoins outperform. Is the cycle taking basically everybody off guard? Yeah. So the time is, it takes a little longer. Does it mean that it's the wrong thing to bet on? In my opinion, not. It's only like, oh, okay, we have to have more patience. Yeah, sucks. Let's have some more patience. We will get there, guys. Just hold on. The crypto is a patience game. It's never meant to be easy. So again, that's the first thing, the Bitcoin dominance without stable coins, giving a way more realistic picture of how altcoins actually perform against Bitcoin. The next one is one of the most, this chart, if you show this chart to anyone, I cannot imagine that somebody is not bullish on alts actually. That's the Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance, plus stable dominance. So basically everything except alts, right? And that looks like this. Now, one thing I know about crypto is that a market cycle has 4 phases, right? We have an accumulation phase, where it goes sideways, where you're bullish on an asset and accumulate. Then you have an uptrend. Then there's a distribution phase, where you have time to get out, where it goes sideways at the top of the range. And then there is the downtrend. And then it starts over. Accumulation, uptrend, distribution. I can honestly, look, I get there are a lot of people that are for some reason at this moment not bullish on alts, right? I mean, why would you be bullish at the lows? It's way better to YOLO in higher so that we make money, right? So thanks. But honestly, if you look at this chart, are you really looking at this chart and be like, yeah, this will totally go into price discovery, right? Again, it's good. But this is not the pattern for that, right? So basically what it means, this chart going down means that money flows from BTC or ETH or stables or all of them or some of them into alts, meaning alts outperforming. We have seen a small move in December. It was like pretty much, halfway there. It was mostly a wick. It was pretty, well, not mostly, but a big part of it was a wick. It was kind of short-lived. Was not an alt season. Alt season is really when it goes down all the way here, right? Like Benjamin Cowan likes to say when he looks at charts like these, like, hey, this looks like an oscillator, right? Bottom, top, bottom, top. Well, then the bottom again should make sense. So therefore, I'd be like, but why are you then not bullish on alts? I don't get you. I don't get it actually, right? This is such a obvious range, in my opinion. We should not overcomplicate any further. When we already had this drawdown in December, you see what happened to the altcoin market. The altcoin market went from $180 billion to $439 billion. Right? Absolutely crazy how hard that gained. And this was halfway. Now you also have to realize the drawdown that we've seen right here was money going out from ETH and Bitcoin and stables. Right? But by the time that we do this, it might be that there's way more money in Bitcoin because, hey, Bitcoin is designed to go up. So the next time that we go to the same level, gain-wise, it could be way bigger for alts, depending on how much money is sitting in the crypto market. The next chart is the social metrics. And the social metrics are just showing the interest in people, who subscribe to crypto YouTube channels, who watch these videos, follow people on Twitter, etc. This is sitting at 0. I try to look at it like this. When else in history was the social metric sitting really low? And was that an opportunity to buy or to sell? Yeah, it's quite logical in my opinion, actually, because if the social metrics sit at zero, so if there are no people here, then who's gonna sell? Institutions? It's funny. I see most people say that the institutions are actually the problem because they don't buy altcoins but only Bitcoin, and therefore it's a Bitcoin only run. Right? So who's gonna sell if there's nobody here in the first place? Right? It's not nobody, but you know what I mean. The last time we were sitting really low was in 2018, and there the social metrics went to 0.018, right? Pretty close to zero. Yeah, that was basically the bottom. And in 2016-17, it was sitting at zero as well. And that was when Bitcoin was $700 before it ran to 20K. Right, so does it have to mean that Bitcoin is gonna have such an epic run? But by thinking the complete opposite, like, oh yeah, zero, things should top out now. Like, Now, why is this more altcoin related, in my opinion? Well, you can see it right here. Bitcoin made, new highs. And does retail care? It went to 0.1. Right? If in the paper or whatever people read these kind of things, it says like, well, Bitcoin 200K. People either think I don't care about Bitcoin because I'm not involved in all of this, or they think, oh yeah, I like crypto, but Bitcoin 200K, I don't have 200K, or or they think like, yeah, what's the upside here for me, right? That's what people been thinking all the time about Bitcoin, right? And at $1 million, they will still think the same, but they will look at alts because hey, Bitcoin is expensive, alts are cheap. There's the opportunity, right? So they go into the altcoin market, right? Here, retail also, there was interest because Bitcoin, hey, back to close to making cycle highs, didn't work, interest down again. Bitcoin, hey, cycle highs, right? Or almost at least. Interest like, oh, okay, down again. And when did retail really started to peak? Well, here Bitcoin was making new highs even, right? But retail didn't went higher than this. No, when retail really started to break out, to put it like that, retail started to break down right here. I had mental breakdowns all over the place. And when it started to break out, it was kind of here. It was like in December 2020, right? January 2021. When was that? That was here, right? This point, alt season. People don't care about Bitcoin. They want to see altcoins do well, right? So it's understandable that nobody is here. People will come as soon as altcoins go up. And as soon as altcoins go up and people will come, they make altcoins come. Shit, they make altcoins go up even more. That's weird, man. They make altcoins go up even more, right? That's the domino effect that I've mentioned before. And it's all my theory, but I think my theory just makes sense. Otherwise, I wouldn't be saying it, of course. And yeah, we need something to push that. What's that? Well, we need a lot of money in the market. Oh, how do we get that? Oh, wait. There's already $3 trillion in the market. So the money is already there. It just needs, to be pushed into altcoins. What could cause it? Anything. This crypto market is so volatile. Any could do anything with the market, right? So that, yeah. Sentiment or retail social metrics shows like, wow, there could literally not be a better moment, basically. Then we have, again, kind of comparing it with sentiment, right? Because the social metrics shows how many people are here. Well, not a lot. But the sentiment says something as well. The sentiment from the people that are here is not so great these days, right? There are a few people that still believe, and I think that these are going to be the winners, right? Because the market doesn't allow most people to win, of course, right? Just a few. yeah, there are just a few people that believe compared to all the people that are not here, and all the people that are here and say it's different, it's dead, it's a Bitcoin only run, it's over, alts are not coming back, it's all a scam. Exactly copy pasted from the comments that were given at the end of 2020 as well. It is, I have literally seen people say exactly the same as what we have seen in 2020. I have a picture on my X account where I've showed that, like, whoa, right before alt season started, people said it's over, institutions are here. Even in 2020 they said that, and yeah, you know what happened after that, right? So yeah, a lot of people don't believe. That's of course a great sign. And why is that actually? Well, if everybody believes in altcoins right now, then everybody would be in right now, right? So then who is going to pump these coins? Nobody, right? Because everybody is already there. If just a few people believe, yeah, then the chart is not that elevated, right? So then there are a lot of people who can pump our bags. And it already showed, like I showed in one of the last videos, I think, like the market at the moment of recording, it took a little correction. But overall, if you look at coins like CDFI or whatever, right? If you look at this, then you can see that, you know, you don't have to fuck around with all the terrible meme coins or new coins out there. But even if you stick with quality, and this is still considered a low cap coin, but it takes nothing. It does 100% gain. I know it's been wrecked really hard as well. But yeah, at a certain point, the liquidity has been taken out. So what's going to cause the pump? Nothing. We don't need news. It's just low liquidity, right? So it takes nothing to pump it. And we are going to get a lot, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, sentiment, man, that's going to do a lot in this case. Then we have another chart, and this chart shows how altcoins do compared to Bitcoin, right? Because what's an alt season? It's where altcoins outperform Bitcoin, right? We have a Bitcoin season basically all the time, but there's always also a little season where alts overall really outperform for a durable time, couple months at least, right? Well, if we look at that chart, then there's the total three. So everything excluding everything in the top 125, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. ES, meaning excluding stables as well, on its Bitcoin pair, right? And if we look at this chart right here, you know, there are a lot of ways you can draw this chart. You can say like, you know, one touch and two, it's not a trend yet, right? So this line shouldn't be there. Whatever, this could be the case. It's all debatable. However, if I look at this, it is very simple to me, actually. Way more upside than downside. Way more upside than downside. All right, now, if you look at the glass half empty, you could be like, hey, altcoins were bouncing here for a long time and they now broke down. Yeah, therefore they got to the lower side of this range, in my opinion. That's true. But is that a reason to be necessarily bearish on it? I don't know. If you look at 2017, and I've said before on this channel, like this cycle looks so much like 2015. It's really crazy. But yeah, there as well, right? Altcoins got wrecked on their Bitcoin pair, and it made lower lows as well. And all of a sudden, without a warning, bam! Like, okay, sometimes the market is not like, hey, here you have some confirmation. Take a loan, take your time, we will wait. No, it's just like, hey, confirmation, fuck you, to the moon, bye. Like, wow. Right now, also, I just know that there are so many people that say like, yeah, this time it's different. You know, altcoins on the Bitcoin pair down 84% over here. Then they got a real big leg up, and from wick to wick, it was down 88% right there. And from the recent highs, altcoins are down with 60% so far. So yeah, you could say like, yeah, this time is different. Yeah, for the better, altcoins are holding up way better, way better, right? The only thing that I actually think is different is that it just takes a little longer, but that's the business cycle is taking longer, right? It has nothing to do with alts. If you look at the stock market, for example, there's a chart. If you look at the Russell, right? The Russell is showing, I think it was from the top of my head, all the shitcoin companies, top 2,000 companies, right? If you look at that on the S&P pair, this has also been fucking wrecked, right? So it's not an issue of alts. It's the macro, right? And yeah, if you can look at that, yeah, that gives a lot more hope actually in this case. But hey, if alts go down 80% this time, it will all the way down here, right? Could it be? Could be. Maybe. I don't know. It's down twice from where we are right now. Something fucked up has to happen, right? But hey, I don't want to rule it out. It could. All I want to say is if you still have Bitcoin, yeah, then it's probably a matter of like you can probably make a simple 50x by holding safe altcoins, right? You don't need to gamble anymore. This would fucking be terrible. It would wreck everybody. But the 3 people in crypto that see that as an opportunity, they will make all the money they will ever need, right? That you have to. Down is not always bad. It depends on how well you are prepared, right? But yeah, I don't know. What I honestly think is, look, we went down, we were ranging up, down, ranging up, down, ranging. Like, this doesn't look that different from the last cycles, right? Yeah, here we made a low, a higher low, a lower low, way lower low, up. Here we made a low, lower low, lower low, up. Here we made a, just all over the place, but eventually a lower low. Yeah, how can you be bearish there, right? I don't really see it. So altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, yeah, they have so much more upside than downside, in my opinion. And how far can they go up? I don't know. It depends on how far they will go down. In the first place, I think the 382 is the first level. That's just a fib extension. That's about, what is this? 70%, 60% on their Bitcoin pair. Right? And it sounds like, well, just 60% against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is 110K. Well, now it's lower, but Bitcoin is over 100K. You know what that would mean for alts on the dollar pair? That will go crazy, really. So there's that. Then, of course, we have the dominance, Bitcoin dominance, and the risk levels. Now, why do I like this so much? Because if you applied investing and trading, if you applied the risk levels to that, you would have nailed everything so like close to perfect. If you look at Bitcoin and you would have said to yourself, you know what? I'm gonna sell Bitcoin at the 2 or the 3 highest risk levels, right? That would have been here and here, right? 3 highest risk levels. You nailed the top, 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 right? And you took some profits here as well. Not bad. Cool. If you would have said to yourself, like, and I only buy the lowest 3 risk levels, you see where you buy and where you sell? Buy here, DCA here, sell here, DCA in here, DCA out here, in here, out. Wow. Risk levels are great for this stuff. Guess what else has risk levels on it? The Bitcoin dominance. And the Bitcoin dominance risk, where is it currently sitting? At 0.92, the highest of them all. That's where we are right now. We went there twice before, 3 times. Right on the top before alt season started. Here, before, the Bitcoin dominance took a pretty sustainable hit. You can call this leg one of alt season, basically. And here, before the Bitcoin dominance just took a real decent cool off as well, right? These were the only times we were that high. Even in the biggest alt season ever, the dominance never went that high. It actually went to here, this level. So the Bitcoin dominance risk levels are basically saying, like, hey, be as bearish as you can because this is flashing right now. Get the fuck off of that train. Look, with everything combined and then this on top, I feel like, why ignore this right now? Why? Why? It's such like only because, well, the news or whatever the hell. Yeah, it's all included in here, right? Otherwise, this wouldn't look like this. So yeah, this speaks for itself. I honestly think that, I don't know, if anyone is bearish on alts, show them this video. Like, I honestly don't, I can't imagine after seeing these indicators that people still feel like, yeah, let's short everything, Bitcoin run only. Like, huh? Like, you could try and maybe you will be right. But yeah, what if not? You miss out on the third alt run ever, basically. Is that worth it? Is that what you've been doing here it for? I don't know. And yeah, then the last thing, and it's basically the ETH dominance, right? Ethereum is the biggest altcoin, and it kind of shows the way for altcoins. If you look at Ethereum dominance, right, and you overlay the altcoin market on its Bitcoin pair, you can definitely see some similarities, right? It follows, if I try to make it overlay a little bit better, right? Here. It's almost the same chart, right? Now, the ETH dominance is now showing like, hey, that was a macro low in 2019. It was the best moment ever. You could have bought ETH there for $140, rode it to $5,000, right? Because the dominance of ETH was so low compared to the rest of the crypto market. Like crazy. Now, the ETH dominance went to that level again. And that is maybe coincidentally, well, I don't think it's coincidence, but that's the level where it had its biggest bounce this whole cycle, right? 26% for ETH dominance in a month on closing base. Crazy, right? This is not a coincidence anymore. This is showing like, hey, this level here, this is meaningful. Showing that if an alt gets, wrecked enough, it shows you like, I have no problem bouncing really fucking hard. And it was weird, right? People bullish on ETH right here. Went down, ooh, bearish on ETH. Okay, whatever. Then it bounced relative small to, the real runs. And people were like, oh, Ethereum. And that is also very simply what could change the sentiment. Just a bounce at a certain level because things just got low enough. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need the market to just be low enough. And that's it. Yeah, and it feels scary to position right there. But let me tell you what, if you go back, showed this before many times, but if you go back to 2017, where Steam, for example, was a high cap coin back then, went down with 99%, aka 10 times as worse as what we are seeing this cycle, basically. If you here somewhere said to yourself, you know what, I'm gonna just buy some. How many X's was this? This was from 6 cents to $8.50, $9. Like, whoa. On a relative high cap, right? And the whole market looked like that. Zcash, right? Also came out, wrecked with 99.9%. Yeah, if that happens today, everybody would agree like that's dead, right? Failed, never look back. And what happened? Even this from $22 to $880, right? The people who bought here, great. Great. It's not that I did. I tried to do a thumbs up, but it was thumbs sideways. But the people who bought here, holy shit. And it feels scary, right? But that's the weird thing, actually. Because why does it feel so scary to buy here and not to buy here? Because you here have confirmation. But then again, you are here closer to the bottom than here. So there's here lower risk, right? And higher reward. So it should be less scary to buy low. But that's where the psychology of people comes in and tells you like, hey, it's about money. Okay, here are your feelings. Now fuck it up, right? That's just how it works. Honestly, I think that everybody who has been in the altcoin market for the last 3 years should now maybe don't like the way that the market is performing, but they at least should look at the market and be like, wow, the opportunity is way better. The risk is lower. The reward is higher. If you still have cash or not, you know, that I can't answer. Of course, you know what you did with your money. But if you do have cash, yeah, in my opinion, you're blessed. You are really in a good position. Or Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin even better because alts on the Bitcoin pair look like they stepped into the ring with Prime Tyson. But then again, it's more of a Super Saiyan recovery, right? They get stronger from it. So I want to leave it here, guys. Let me know what you think about alts. In the next video, I'm going to go over a couple new alts that I feel like these are some great ones to actually look at. Because, yeah, this is the time, right? And if it goes a little lower next month, fuck that. I don't care, right? It's not like, hey, this is the bottom. Now let's buy it. No, it's more like, hey, we are way then close enough to the bottom to buy. And if we get a little 20%, 30% correction in the meantime, who cares if the upside is potentially 900%? So I think we should keep that in mind. For now, thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and I'll see you in the next one.